The first problem says, during tug of war, Abby felt she was Supergirl and attempted to beat Marco. Abby, with one arm on the rope and the other at her side, applied a force of 100 newtons to the left. So here is, we'll make Abby red. 100 newtons of force to the left. And Marco applied a force of 100 newtons with both hands to the right. So we're drawing our force diagram. What's the net force? What do we have left over? Well, they each cancel each other out. 100 newtons to the left, 100 newtons to the right equals a net force of 0 newtons. And are the forces balanced or unbalanced? They're balanced because they cancel each other out. You have the same amount of force going opposite directions. Problem number 2 says, Abby finally decides to take things seriously and puts both hands on the rope while applying a force of 150 newtons to her left. So again, Abby is going to be red, and she's applying a force now of 150 newtons to her left. Marco is still pulling with a force of 100 newtons to the right from the previous problem. So Marco is blue. That's the force diagram. What is the net force? The amount of force left over after both forces have been applied is 50 newtons. In the direction to the left. And the forces would be unbalanced because they are not equal. Okay, problem 3 says, in a second period battle, the girls were able to overcome the boys 3 times in the tug of war. The boys had 3 individuals, each pulling with a total force of 30 newtons to the left. The 5 girls were able to pull the rope towards them with a net force of 50 newtons to the right. Draw a force diagram. Okay, so I am going to use the color blue for the boys. It says up here that the boys had 3 individuals, each pulling with a total force of 30 newtons to the left. So I'm going to draw my vector arrow that represents 30 newtons to the left of applied force. The girls are pulling the rope with a force of 50 newtons to the right. So I'm going to use red for the 5 girls. 50 newtons to the right. Applied force. So that's the force diagram. Next it says, what is the net force left over? Let's do our subtraction problem here. We have 20 newtons of force left over, pulling to the right. What was the minimum amount of force each of the 5 girls applied to the rope? Well, if we had the girls pulling with a force of 50 newtons, and there were 5 of them, that equals 10 newtons of force for each girl. That would be the minimum amount required.